Sometimes you need to slow down in order to speed back up again. Hi, my name is Samar Abuselbi, and I'm the host of the show Super Awesome You on the Super Awesome Mix Podcast Network. You can find more of our content and learn more about us at superawesomemix.com or follow us on Instagram at superawesomemix. If you haven't already, please consider leaving a 5-star review on the show, especially if you are enjoying it. It means a lot, and it helps other people try the show, which is great. I think we can all use more super awesome people in the world. Today, I am talking about an experience I just had just a little bit over a week ago when I was running the Brooklyn Half Marathon. So, I have been training for a full marathon. I'm currently qualifying for the 2024 one in New York City, which is very exciting. And along the way, I've run so far 2 half marathons, Brooklyn being the second one. And in this one, I was really pushing for a sub 2-hour finish. So I was pacing right on track to hit 1 hour and 58 minutes. And I gave myself 2 extra minutes just in case I needed to drink some water, slow down a little bit. But I was perfectly on pace for 15 kilometers. So a half marathon is 13.1 miles or 21 kilometers. So I had done 15 of the 21, was feeling really good. And then everything started to fall apart right after that mark. And I was really struggling. It's like my body just suddenly was like, nope, I got nothing left. Like, good luck. Thankfully, it wasn't so dire that I was collapsing or anything, medically dangerous, but I just felt mentally exhausted, along with a little bit of physical exhaustion as well. And it was a real struggle. It's like as if the music I was listening to was doing nothing for me anymore. It was as if at that point, somewhat sparse crowds were doing nothing for me anymore. And as if I was alone on the field and wasn't just surrounded by a bunch of other people. Like all of the strategy left in my mind, all of the motivation left. I really just felt like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to finish this. And that really drained me even further. I imagine that you can relate with other times in your life feeling like that. Like you hit like a road bump or you suddenly feel so tired or you feel so far away from the finish line, especially after coming so far that you feel exhausted and you don't know how you're going to finish. Then you possibly start to even question, why do you sign up for these things? What are you doing? What is this even all for? And you can really spiral from there down like kind of a negative loop. That self-critic comes out, which, is trying to be a friend of ours. It comes from a good place, trying to protect us and keep us safe, but often does not feel like a good friend of ours, and in fact, often feels like a detractor and kind of a mean person. And so I was struggling to keep running. I mean, my pace dramatically dropped. I hadn't walked in a half marathon in a really long time. I ran one earlier this year and I finished it without ever stopping. I kept trying to tell myself, like, don't stop, don't stop. Like, you've trained a lot, you can do this. Nothing. I mean, honestly, nothing was changing the fact that I was so tired. So, what I needed to do was just slow down and allow myself to walk for a bit. And more than just allowing myself to walk, I had to check in with myself and literally have kind of a conversation with me and be like, okay, reset. Like, you have come this far. You know that you are going to finish. You have the energy to finish. Your body's still okay. Your legs feel good. Your knees are good. Like, you can, there's a water station up here. There's a Gatorade station. Like, you're going to drink. You've got some gel packs with you. You're not at risk of collapsing. You just feel really, really tired, but you have got this. You trained for this. You know that you can run these miles. You've done it many times before. It wasn't even a week prior that I had run 10 miles successfully at the pace I needed to be at. And I just allowed myself to kind of build back up. And I checked in on like, why was this important? What is this all for? And it was okay that I wasn't going to hit my time because I was on pace for my time for a really long portion of that race. And I thought, well, this is going to be a great learning experience for me. I'm going to be so much better the next round. And I have my next half later this year in October. And I just allowed myself the space to reset and to listen to what this was all about and to trust in my body and its ability to finish. I knew that I was going to cross the finish line. That was the one thing that I was not going to let go of. I knew I was going to cross. And so what I did was allow myself to literally slow down and start to walk. and also to let go of the original goal I had, because by this point, it was not going to happen. I mean, just time and physics weren't going to allow it to happen. So instead, I reset on the goal and I was like, I just want to finish. I really want to finish. And I'm going to be really proud of myself when I cross that finish line, because I know that I worked really hard. I know that I have given it everything that I've got. And it is okay that I'm not going to hit the mark that I originally intended this time, because instead I'm going to hit a completely different goal, which is that when I'm faced with something that feels insurmountable, I find a way anyway to cross a finish line and to make it across. I think those are the types of things you really need to be open to. You've got to be adaptable. It is too easy sometimes to set an original goal and be so fixated on that original goal that if you don't hit it, that you just walk away from the whole thing. I think that's a real shame, because if I had just quit and didn't finish the race, I would have relived that decision over and over again. I probably would have been full of regret for having done that. Again, I want to qualify here. Sometimes quitting the race is exactly what you need to do. And we've talked about that in a previous episode. Had I felt that I was like in a medically dangerous position or something was truly wrong with my body, I absolutely should have quit and would have done so. But this was not that. This was really more of a mental exhaustion more than a physical issue. And I trusted that deep down in my body. Like, I checked in with my body and my muscles and everything. I felt okay to keep going from that point of view. But mentally, I was just not there. But anyway, had I quit because of that, I think I really would have lived in regret for that decision. And to go down this path a little bit further, I actually think that even if I had quit because I just felt mentally tired, I again would have found a way to kind of reset and use the whole thing as a learning experience and told myself, hey, this is one race. Runners have bad races all the time. Like, you can be a world-class athlete and you're going to have a time where just something didn't click and it didn't go the way that you planned. And that's okay. That does not change who you are. That does not change why this matters to you. That doesn't change the foundation of the goal. That is basically part of the journey. Falling down is part of getting back up again and learning and growing. And that is really the whole lesson of today's episode, which is like, you need to slow down. You need to be adaptable. You need to give yourself some space to understand these things, that we cannot be perfect every single time. And in fact, trying to be perfect is a really good way to basically never do anything at all. When you strive for perfection, you just end up kind of standing still because it's impossible to hit. Instead, try for learning. Let the goal be learning. Let the goal be growing. Let the goal be experiences that will help you do something a little bit better the next time around. And so when I came home after finishing, and I did finish, and in fact, even despite walking, I still beat my previous time by 1 minute. And so that's amazing. I went home and I wrote down a list of things I had learned about this experience so that the next time I go out there later this year, I'm not going to make those same mistakes again. I did a little bit more reading. I should have changed my nutrition that morning. I should have changed my water strategy during the race. And I should have been a little bit better about pacing, because silly me, I went a little bit too hard. I got a little too excited in the first half of it and didn't have anything left in the tank for the second half. But these are all part of learning and being a runner. These are all mistakes that people make. Sometimes even experts make this, because again, sometimes you're just so amped up. It's really difficult to not be amped up, especially at the start of a race. The crowds are really wild. The runners around you are all fresh. Your body's all fresh. It's early in the morning and you just feel like you are ready to go, which in fact is today's song of the week. It's Ready to Go by Republica, because it just has that beat of you wanting to run and feeling ready to go. Like, you hit play, and for me, it just instantly makes me want to start running and feeling like moving. And that is great. Never lose that feeling of being excited and wanting to go and feeling eager to do your best. But that's the important thing. It's like, you are doing your best, but that does not mean that it will be the best. It just means that you are giving your best. And sometimes it's not going to be, sometimes it will be. That's all part of the journey. It's all great. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't let that critic take you down. You are better than your critic. You are stronger. You are faster. Use that bigger part of your brain to overpower that fear center, that really deep part, like the old part of our brain. Don't let that one rule you. let the newer, bigger, fancier version of our brain take over and be like, nope, I'm learning, I'm growing, I've got this. With that, I hope you have a wonderful, amazing rest of your week. We've got summer around the corner. I'm going to be taking a little bit of a summer break later this year, and then I'll be back in the fall for a whole new season. But so far, it's been an amazing experience. I myself have learned a lot doing this show and continue to learn. If you have any topics you'd like covered, if you have any questions, please reach out to hello@superawesomemix.com or DM us at superawesomemix on Instagram.